Okay, Marco shortly introduced me. My name is Timo Herbrand. I'm co-founder of the startup PyroCCS and its managing director, and I want to introduce you to our business model, which is the biochar strategy for developing countries. Okay. Biochar, in the sense of pyrogenic carbon capture and storage, or PCS, is a proven carbon dioxide removal technology. And we will need a lot of CDR. By 2050, 10 billion tons of CO2 need to be actively removed from the atmosphere every year and stored permanently. Converting into a market value at $100 per ton of CO2, it's $1 trillion market in the making. There are numerous CDR technologies. Biochar stands out with the highest technology readiness level and a great welfare value when charged with nutrition and then incorporated into soil as a terra preta product. So biochar is the CDR solution that can be implemented by anyone, anywhere in the world now. We estimate the CDR potential of waste biomass, the annual CDR potential of waste biomass, to be 10 gigaton. The European Biochar Industry Consortium is estimating an annual growth rate of 70% on average for the next years. For Europe, that means an increase of the CDR potential from 200,000 tons today up to 13.2 million tons in 2030, which is quite an achievement when compared to solely technological solutions, but it's still less than 3% of what is needed in 2030. So expensive high-tech machines come with scaling limitations, such as long delivery times and expensive biochar, high prices for biochar. To achieve rapid scaling that we need, the biomass potential of the developing world has to be locked up. So this is where our strategy comes in. We have developed low-tech machinery that is suitable for decentralized operations in developing countries, and we combine this with high-tech certification, such as LCA-based methods, like the EBC European Biochar Certificate Standard or the Puro Earth methodology. The combination of low-tech machinery with high-tech certification allows us to work economically without having to sell the biochar, because most farmers in developing countries cannot afford biochar. Rapid scaling there is only possible if the biochar is given out free of charge. Let me explain our strategy in detail by the example of our showcase in Namibia that we started this year. 50% of the land area of Namibia is suffering from bush encroachment. So those invasive plants are destroying the savanna ecosystem. And right now, only a tiny fraction of that invasive plants getting utilized, mainly by the production of charcoal, which is done in an environmental unfriendly way with a lot of pollution and emissions of greenhouse gas. So we are offering the biomass owners, the farmers, a sustainable alternative. We are leasing a piece of land on their farm and construct and operate the pyrolysis plant on our own expense. The farmer only has to harvest the invasive bushes, transport them to the plant, and gets paid by weight. We do the pyrolysis and take care of the sequestration and the certification, and the generated carbon sink certificates are sold to international off-takers. And this revenue finances the investments and the operations and the purchase of the biomass from the farmer. So massive scaling is possible when the biomass harvesting farmer doesn't have to make any investment, and when the biochar receiving farmer gets it for free. Massive scaling means 1,000 plants or facilities like this to be set up within 10 years. 1,000 facilities have an output capacity of 1 million tons of biochar. With 1 million tons of biochar, 50,000 to 100,000 hectares of Namibian cropland can get fertile, thereby sequestering more than 2 million tons of CO2 and creating 15,000 jobs in rural areas. So what are the benefits? The biomass owner gets the revenue opportunity for savanna restoration, which has a positive impact on biodiversity and the environment. The whole value chain stays in the country. And not only the whole value chain, but also the product stays in the country to make Namibian soils, or to help to make Namibian soils fertile. So to increase crop yields, to make the soil more resilient for the negative effects of climate change. It also helps to better the terms of trade, because Namibia is able to sell high-tech services in form of virtual carbon sink certificates. And tens of thousands of jobs are created in rural areas that suffer from high unemployment. So our strategy is global. We have entered a strategic partnership with one of the leading Indian waste management companies. Our joint venture plans to set up 500 facilities over the next 8 years. And as a proud founding member of the Nature Data Alliance, we are interested in engaging in their pilot projects in Suriname and Kenya. And we are currently in negotiation for a strategic partnership in Indonesia. If those plans work out, then we will be able to set up over 2,000 facilities over the next 7-8 years, which would result in a CDR potential of over 4 million tons annually, and would generate a revenue of around about $650 million. So as we don't have much time, I'm not going to put too much emphasis on this. We entered this strategy to the X-Prize carbon removal milestone competition, and yes, got into the final as one of 2 German teams. We're proud of that. We are looking for investors to finance each facility that we need for our rollout, either by giving loans in exchange for the purchase right of the carbon sink certificates, or through forward sales of the carbon sink certificates. And I want to end my presentation with a quote perfectly summing up the potential of biochar. Thank you very much.